Let me walk you through how to create this cute headband step by step in this video. It's a simple project, but you'll need some basic crochet skills and a few hours to spare. So let's get started. For this project you'll need a 2.0mm hook, a scissor, a sewing needle, and 3 different colored yarns. You can also just use one color, it's totally up to you. This is depending on how you want the final product to look like. I'm using 100% cotton yarn, but feel free to choose any yarn that you prefer. We'll start by making 5 of these granny square flowers. We will begin by making the center of the flower. Make a magic circle like this. So I just want to make a quick disclaimer. This is my first ever YouTube video that I'm making. So I'm still getting the hang of using the English terms in crocheting, so please bear with me. You chain 2. I always tighten up the circle a little bit by pulling this strand right here. It just makes it a bit easier to make the next stitches. Then make 11 double crochets into the magic circle, counting the first chain as 1. This will give us a total of 12 double crochets. When you've done your 12 double crochets, including the first chain, you tighten up the center like this. To finish off this round, you slip stitch into the 3rd stitch right here and chain 1 to secure the end. And now you should have a round circle like this, which is your center of the flower. Now we're moving on to the flower petals. Grab your second yarn, pull through one of the stitches with your needle and chain 3. I personally avoid tying the yarn with a knot, so I just make the first chain really tight and weave it in later, essentially making this only 2 chains. But you're more than welcome to make a knot if that's what you prefer, and then you just chain 2. Now we're gonna crochet 2 double crochets together. Yarn over, insert the needle in the same stitch as before, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Don't finish this double crochet, instead you yarn over again, and then you insert the needle again in the same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. As you can see, I'm pulling the strand a bit here. This is to make the flower petal bigger. Now we got 3 loops on the hook. I yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And now we got the first petal. Remember, the first chain we made here on the petal is counting as 1 double crochet. And then you just chain 2. In the second stitch, we're gonna do 3 double crochets together. Yarn over, insert the needle, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. And like we did before, we yarn over again, insert the needle, again in the same stitch as before, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. And one last time, yarn over, insert the needle, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Now we got 4 loops on the hook, and we're gonna yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. Now we got the second petal, and then you just chain 2. Now you're gonna continue doing this in every stitch around the circle. When you made your way around the circle, it should look like this. And you should now have 12 petals. You end this round by chaining 2, and then you make a slip stitch through the 3rd stitch right here. And chain 1 to secure the end. Now we're gonna crochet the border around the flower. Pick up your 3rd yarn, insert the needle between 2 of the petals, then you make a chain or a knot, if that's what you prefer, to secure the yarn. And then you chain 2. Then you make 2 double crochets into the same gap. Compared to the double crochet you made in the flower petals, here we're not gonna pull the strand, we're just gonna keep the double crochet tight. Now you're gonna make 3 triple crochets into the next gap. Chain 1, and then make 3 more triple crochets in the same gap. We just made the corner of the granny square. Now you make 3 double crochets in this gap. So what you just did in the last 3 gaps, you will copy and do it again 3 more times around the flower. If you're not used to making granny squares, or this is your first time, it might be a bit hard to understand the system on this round. Here you see an illustration that I drew. This is to try to explain the system which is used in this round. I have no idea if this is any help or if it just makes it more confusing. Either way, I'm gonna follow you through the rest of the steps around the flower. Make 3 double crochets in the next gap. Then you will make 3 triple crochets in the next gap, chain 1, and make 3 more triple crochets in the same gap. This is the second corner of the granny square. Make 3 double crochets in the next gap, again make 3 double crochets in this gap, this is the third corner of the granny square, so again we're gonna make 3 triple crochets in this gap, chain 1, and make 3 more triple crochets in the same gap. Now you make 3 double crochets in the next gap. And again make 3 double crochets in this gap. We're gonna make the last and fourth corner here. Make 3 triple crochets in this gap, chain 1, and make 3 more triple crochets in the same gap. And in the last gap here, you'll make 3 double crochets. And the last step in this round is to slip stitch into the third stitch right here. Now we're finished with the granny square. and you just need 5 of these. The next step is to make 2 of these triangles, which are gonna be on both sides of the headband. You start by making a slip knot. Then you chain 2. Then you make a single crochet into the second chain right here. And you make 1 more single crochet into the same chain. Now you chain 1. Turn your work. Then you make a single crochet into the first stitch. And now you make 2 single crochets into the second stitch here. Again, make 1 chain, turn your work, and you just continue like this, making 1 single crochet into every stitch except the last one on the row. In the last one, you always make 2 single crochets. So you just continue doing this. Chain 1, turn your work. 1 single crochet in every stitch except the last one, or you make 2 single crochets. And you continue doing this until you have 1 row with 14 stitches. When you got your 14 stitches, you end by chaining 1 to secure the end. And now you should have a triangle like this. And now it's time to sew our components together. Remember, you need 5 of the granny squares and 2 of the triangles. There's a right side and there's a wrong side of all your pieces. And to sew the pieces together, you turn the 2 right sides against each other like this. We're gonna sew together the 2 granny squares on one of the sides. You take your yarn and then you cut off a long piece, approximately 20 centimeters, I would say. I'm not quite sure, but I think that should be enough. And then you put it in your needle. To make the stitching invisible, we're gonna sew through the outside strands of every stitch through both granny squares, like I'm showing right now in the video. You sew through these strands right here. You're gonna start by putting the needle through the chain that we made in the corner of the granny square. You yarn through twice and pull the needle through the loop. We're gonna do this to secure the end. we're gonna sew through the outside strands of every stitch through both granny squares, like this. We're gonna sew from one corner to the other, which in total is through 14 stitches. And you start and finish in the single chain that we made in both corners. In the last stitch, we yarn through twice and put the needle through the loop. This is to secure the end. Remember to pull in both ends of the strand to tighten the stitching. And then it should look something like this. When you attached all the 5 granny squares, you just need to attach the 2 triangles on both sides of the headband. You literally just do the exact same thing as you did with the granny squares. And now your headband should look like this. The only thing we need to do now is to do the border all the way around the headband and the strand that's gonna tie the headband together. You start by putting the needle into one of the stitches and you pull out the yarn. Then, as I said before, I don't like making the knots, so I make 2 chains here. The first one is just to secure the strand. You're more than welcome to make 1 knot and 1 chain. This next step is pretty easy. You're just gonna make a single crochet in every stitch around the headband. Between the detached granny squares, you're gonna make 2 single crochets in these 2 holes right here. So you'll make 1 single crochet in this hole and 1 single crochet in this hole right here. And now you're just gonna continue doing single crochets all the way around the headband. When you reach the triangle at the end of the headband, just crochet a single stitch into the stitches I'm pointing out right here. So we're actually making a single crochet in between every row of the triangle. When you made a single crochet into the last stitch in the corner of the triangle here, it's time to make the strand. You start to make a chain of 80. When you chained 80, we're gonna make a single crochet in every chain all the way back to the triangle. You're gonna skip the first chain and go into the second one right here. Remember to make a single crochet into the same stitch that we already made a single crochet in, which was the corner of the triangle. And you do the exact same thing in the triangle on the other side of the headband. And now on to the final step. When you made a single crochet in every stitch around the headband, you'll make a slip stitch in the stitch right here, which is the stitch on your first single crochet you made. Instead of making a chain here to secure the end, we're gonna make a more beautiful finish. Put the yarn in the needle, then you're gonna secure it like this. You sew into the stitch right here, the second one. And then you go back to your last stitch here and put the needle in between the strands like this. And of course, you need to weave in all your ends. And your final product should look like this. Thank you so much for watching my first ever YouTube video. Hopefully there will be many more to come. I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the like and subscribe buttons, and feel free to give me your feedback in the comment section. I really look forward to seeing you again in my next video.